So to get started, I'm going to be posting up an NMLRA 100-yard rifle target. We're going to be posting this at 25 yards. And this isn't so much an accuracy test as it is just to see where this gun is shooting and make any sight adjustments that we might need to make. So like I said, I'm shooting on the primitive range today. It's nice and quiet. I can hear the creek running behind me. But this is kind of what a normal offshoot day looks like back here. As an NMLRA member, you can come in anytime you want, and during normal work hours, you're going to want to check in at the office. They can get you any of the targets or any of the powder that you might need for your day of shooting. But this isn't set up or anything. We didn't tell anybody not to come. It's just a normal Friday afternoon here, and it's just real peaceful. I think this atmosphere really adds to muzzleloading quite a bit. So I'm here at the 25-yard line now. You can see down there, that's where all my shooting and filming stuff is. I'm here at 25 yards, and I've just posted my target here. So we're shooting a little uphill at this, but this is going to give us a decent target to figure out where this Hawken is shooting. Now, if I wanted to really load up and really get down to business as far as sighting in this Hawken goes, I'd want to do it off the bench, and I'd be really paying attention to the round ball weights of each individual round ball and really measuring my powder, probably pre-measuring it really, and with a scale and everything, and then coming in. But for what we're doing, just trying to get an idea of where this is shooting, this is going to be fine. So this is what the target looks like from where I'm standing. And I'm going to be shooting pretty much from here where this is now. So I'm looking at my Traditions manual here, and if I'm reading this correctly, we've got a 50 caliber 490 round ball, 15 thousandths thickness patching at 3F. The most accurate we're looking at is 45 to 70 grains. The maximum they recommend is 105. And for what we're doing for target practice, we really don't need that much. So I'm going to start off with just kind of the general rule of thumb, which is 1 grain of powder to 1 caliber of your ball. So that's kind of an old muzzleloader trick to sighting in and figuring out your round ball size. So with a 50 caliber muzzleloader like we're using now, a lot of people will start with 50 grains of powder. And that's what we're going to start with today, trying to figure out where this thing's shooting. What we want to do first is make sure that our chamber is clear. And with a muzzleloader like this, with our cap lock muzzleloader, we're going to pop 2 caps. And that's just going to clean out anything that could be in the barrel, any dust, any bugs or anything, so that we know we're loading into a clean chamber. It also lets us know that the chamber is clear and a charge hasn't been left in there. Because I want to keep my priming device, whether this is a priming horn for a flintlock or a capper like this, away from the rest of my black powder that's in the can, I'm going to be keeping the capper in my pouch here. That's just an easy way for me to keep track of it and keeps it away from anything that could ignite it. Before I get started here, I'm just going to tighten up my nipple on here. If you watch the Traditions Hawken series, you'll have seen that I put that in just with my Leatherman, just for the sake of the build video. But before I get ready to shoot this, I really want to make sure that nipple is tightened down, just so that's not going to blow back and cause any damage to me, the range, or anybody else at the range. So with that nipple wrench, if you haven't shot in a while, or you've put in a new nipple, just go ahead and tighten up the nipple there on your lock. It takes 2 seconds, and it just makes sure that you're safe. So before I do anything else, I'm going to put on my ear protection here, just in case there's a charge in our muzzle. We don't want to be doing any damage here. So I'm going to put the Hawken on half cock, set the set trigger, pop that back, grab my capper, put a cap on. I'm always making sure that my muzzle is facing downrange, away from anybody else on the line. Pull the hammer back to full cock, and I'm just going to point this at the ground. And a lot of times you'll see people point it at a leaf, and that leaf will show some pressure coming out of the barrel, just giving you another indicator that your bore or your barrel is empty. So I'm just going to point it down to the ground here. There we go. We're clean. We're just going to do another one just to make sure. So now that we've cleared the bore, we're going to start loading. And I've got 2 cameras set up here to help better show this loading process. So to start loading, the old adage is always powder patch ball or it won't go off at all. So I like to try to set up my workspace so that I have everything in order. So I've got my powder, I've got my patch, and I've got my ball. So that way I always know that I can go in order and I shouldn't be able to mess it up. So to start, I've put on my powder measure, I've set it to 50 grains, like I said we're going to start with. And I've got it in my can here. I'm going to depress our little spring closure here. Flip the can over, let it fill up, close. A little release there. And here, you can see, there's the powder in our primer. I've set the black powder away from my muzzle where I'm loading, and we can just pour this down the muzzle like so. Next, I'm just getting a little bit of our Wonder Lube. It's probably way too much. Onto our patches here. You don't need a whole lot, and you'll see a lot of people just put these patches in their mouth and use what they call a spit patch, where they've just lubricated the patch with some spit. And when I set the ball into the muzzle, I put my patch on top, put my muzzle, or put my round ball then on top, I put that sprue facing up. So ideally, as the round ball is traveling down the bore, that sprue is facing, you know, towards the open muzzle. It's not catching in that rifling and causing any weird spinning action to happen. I take my starter, my ball starter, get things started here. And then I'll get my range rod out and we'll push it home. Whether you're using a range rod or the rod that comes with your muzzleloader, it's really important, just good habit practice, to keep your hand, you know, about 6 to 10 inches above the muzzle with your ramrod. This makes sure that you're not bending the ramrod too much and you're not risking flexing or breaking your ramrod down the road. So at this point, I've seated the round ball with the patch above the charge, and you'll notice my ramrod doesn't bounce very much. Now this is a heavier ramrod than the rod I showed you, but when the bore is empty, that ramrod's really bouncing against that metal breech. So from here, I can set my ramrod to the side, put on my earplugs, and we're ready to head to the line. In between the loading desk and where I'm standing on the line, I'm always making sure that my muzzle is pointed up and my hands are totally away from the trigger, and I haven't primed it yet until I'm here on the firing line ready to shoot. I've got my earplugs in, so we're ready to prime with our capper and take a shot. Woo! Let's go see how that looks. So when I was building this, the trigger I felt was pretty rough, but I was a little caught off guard with how easy it went off. So I'm going to remember that moving forward here with this target, but I don't think that's too bad of a first shot with that St. Louis Hawken. We're a little bit off to the right. When I'm getting a gun or getting a muzzleloader ready like this and sighting it in, I want to make sure that as I'm sighting in, I don't make any adjustments until I've put in, 3 or 4 shots on the target. I feel like after 3 or 4 consistent shots like that, I'm able to get an idea of where that gun's shooting, and then I can confidently make an adjustment if it's needed. Right now though, shoot, first shot, not too bad. I'll give you a little bit of a closer look here at our loading setup this round. I'm not going to show you the loading of every shot that we take here. A little short there. Just because that'd get a little repetitive, but I'll show you a couple here. Now, a lot of times, you'll find people might want to clean before each shot or after each shot. I think after a few shots, you know, 2 or 3, especially for plinking, I'll clean after that. But really, you know, I'm not somebody who wants to clean after every shot. I'm always making sure when I put that range rod in that I get that bushing seated. And then I come down here to, you know, just a few inches above the muzzle and just start working that ball down. You can hear that change. If you can hear that, that's how I know that ball is now seated. And you'll get used to that as you do more, muzzle loading. I'll tell you, I've been stuck inside most of the winter, not doing any shooting, and as simple as it is, that feels wonderful.
We're just taking pictures.
Okay, that's fine. Come on down.
Is that a bullseye? I gave you a...
Yeah, it was definitely Lindsay. Just for the hundreds of thousands of people watching, Lindsay made this last shot happen. Lindsay and Amber are wonderful members of the NMLRA staff who let me be a goofball on YouTube all the time. I would show you guys the look on their faces, but it is just sheer disappointment. So here at 25 yards, this is what we've got for our target. This was my second shot. It broke a little off to the right, but there's our third shot. Man, that's right there in the X-ring. I can't complain about that. I'm gonna load up a few more, and then we're gonna head on up the hill here and check out some of the hanging steel targets that are up in the woods, just to have some more plinking fun. That was a bad shot. Lindsay cursed our last shot, so we're gonna try it again. So with just about any percussion muzzleloader like this one, you may notice sometimes that there'll be some cap fragments in your hammer after you shoot. So something I've been doing, kind of off video here, but I'm gonna show you now, is you wanna make sure you get those out after you've shot. So you don't wanna be getting back onto the firing line and trying to get that scrap out of the hammer. So I've just taken the shot, I've put my hammer back on half cock, and I'm just going to safely, with the muzzle downrange, just kind of tap that out. I can also use my pocket knife or a Leatherman to get in there and pry that out, but that makes sure that I've got a clean hammer before I go back to take my next shot. So we're gonna check out the target here. I think I've put 6 shots or so downrange, and I'm feeling pretty good about where the Hawken is shooting. I haven't adjusted the sights any, but at 25 yards offhand, I'm getting a pretty decent group here. Now, I'm not gonna be winning any NMLRA Nationals, especially with this one here that we're still gonna blame on Lindsay. But as far as this group goes, especially this set here, I'm pretty pleased. You know, so that's right out the box with this kit. I mean, that's the first few shots I've taken with this, and it's not too bad. So I'm feeling pretty confident that, barring any mishaps or Lindsay coming back, you know, I can pretty much hit a Woods Walk target with this, and, you know, with some practice, I can start to compete with this muzzleloader. So there you have it. That is the first set of shots that we've put downrange with our Traditions St. Louis Hawken. You saw us get this kit, build this kit, and now we're out shooting this kit. So thank you so much for watching. Right out the box, this is a fine shooting muzzleloader. I'm really impressed with how it's doing, especially offhand the first few shots. Again, we're using 50 grains of powder, a 490 round ball, and a 15 thousandths patching with a little bit of Wonder Lube on it. I think that load is a really nice load for this. It goes down real easy. It's not hard. It's not super tight. So maybe a 495 round ball might give us some more accurate results. To find that out, you're going to have to get one of these kits yourselves, or maybe subscribe to the channel. And in another video here, we're going to be getting out the 495 round balls, testing them out a little bit, and messing around with the powder charge a little bit. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate all the nice comments that we've been receiving on the videos. I really hope that you've enjoyed this. I know I have. I've been cooped up all winter, like I said, and getting out and shooting some has been really nice. So I'm gonna head up the hill here, shoot some more, but you'll see that in another video. Thanks again so much for watching. If you enjoy what we're doing here, please subscribe to the channel and check out more at NMLRA.org. That was in the X, by the way, just for the record.